That was the first of countless shows in which I got cast, but not in the part I wanted. But I did land the role of Gracie Shin with a few speaking lines and the solo singing line. In March, I got a gray Mackinac in the big production number, Wells Fargo Wagon. I sang my line with gusto, having no idea whatsoever what a Mackinac was. I loved every minute of rehearsal, being around the big kids and learning music and choreography and going over it again and again until it was perfect. And then the night of the performance arrived, and the whole camp, kids, counselors, and staff, came to see the show. We performed in a cavernous, multi-purpose space called the Big Top. The audience sat on the concrete floor. A few lights were strung up around the building, and we wore costumes assembled from whatever the theater counselors could cobble together. When my sister Allie and I were away at camp that summer, our parents moved our family from the city to the suburbs, from Baltimore, where our mother's family had lived for several generations, and where we were surrounded by grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles, to Columbia, Maryland, 30 minutes and a world away. Columbia was, and is, a planned utopian city built by the Rouse Company, a real estate developer, and our father's employer on what had been farmland in Howard County, halfway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. When Allie and I returned from camp to our new home in August, our parents had a surprise. We were going to see a production of The Music Man at the Burnbrae Dinner Theater. Because I had performed in the show at camp, they thought it would be fun to take us to see a professional production. I could hardly wait. Every moment of that night was magical for me, from getting dressed up to entering the small vestibule of the theater, whose walls were covered with black and white photos of past shows, to choosing among a vast array of foods on the buffet table, plus cakes, pies, and pudding for dessert, all topped with whipped cream. The show thrilled me, and I could barely breathe for the whole 2.5 hours. In part, I was affected because our table was right up against the stage, and I could almost touch the actors. And I was enthralled with the girl who played Amaryllis, Francine Applebaum, with her black corkscrew curls, shiny brown eyes, rosy cheeks, and turned-up nose. Most of all, because I had just performed in the show a few weeks prior, I could anticipate every line in the script, every note and every lyric in the songs, and I loved comparing each actor's interpretation, vocal inflections, and gestures with our production at camp. I noted that the boy who played Winthrop at Burnbrae used a much stronger, spit-filled lisp than David Gold, who was Winthrop at camp. The actor who played Marian at Burnbrae was an actual adult, and older, of course, and her soprano voice was thick, rich, and full of vibrato. Jeannie Kramer, the teenager who was Marian in Camp Ramblewood's production, also had a great voice, but her Marian seemed less dreamy and trusting, more suspicious of Harold Hill until the very end. Along with the cast and crew list and actors' bios, which I perused for days, the show's program advertised Saturday drama and dance classes for kids and teens held at the dinner theater. Our parents enrolled Allie and me, and as I entered 4th grade, I began what would be my routine through elementary, middle, and into high school. Saturdays at the theater. I met older kids and begged my parents to take me to see their high school productions of Guys and Dolls and community theater productions of Annie Get Your Gun. The drama teacher, Toby Orenstein, also directed some shows at Burnbrae, casting kids from her classes. And so I played one of the Martas in the dinner theater's production of The Sound of Music. Like many long-running shows with children, The Sound of Music was double cast, and one of the Siamese children in The King and I, in full racial drag of dark pancake makeup, thickly lined eyes, and a black wig. I returned to camp the following summer, a year after The Music Man, and played one of the secretaries in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. By my 11th birthday, I was a musical theater fanatic, an obsessed Broadway star wannabe, and had performed in or...
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.